Hey, what's up? Mike D for Mike D's Marketing Mix. All right, this episode, I got three things to talk to you about. First one, and yeah, of course I got my whiteboard here just to remind me. First one is, well, I'll just go right into it, right? So one of my favorite all-time characters in TV, I don't watch a ton of TV, a few shows I like to watch, sit down with Jamie and, enjoy a show. But I love Breaking Bad, obviously. I mean, who didn't? And one of my favorite characters on that show, of course, like everybody else who liked him too, was Saul Goodman, Walt's lawyer, right? So Saul, Better Call Saul, is a spin-off show from Breaking Bad. It's technically a prequel, right? It's a prequel to Breaking Bad, all about how, Jimmy became Saul Goodman. And Saul Goodman always knew a guy, right? If you knew the show, you knew a guy. So a little experience this week. This is more of a networking lesson for you now. You ready? Because I want to tell you this story that I call Better Call Paul, and I'm going to tell you why I'm telling it. All right? So there's a lot of Pauls in here, so pay attention. So Paul, who works for a company, got a call from his boss. He said, "Paul, our website is horrible. We need to redo this thing. It's old. Somebody in-house did it. The IT guy. I'll talk about that later. The IT guy, whoever he was, did this, and we need to redo this." So Paul at the company said, "All right, why don't I call Paul, who works for the graphics and branding company, who did our latest brochure and kind of helps us with our corporate branding and all that stuff." So Paul at the graphics company told Paul, "Thanks for the call. But listen, as you know, we don't do websites, but I'm going to call Paul at the printing company who we use to print stuff, and I'm going to ask them who they know that can do websites." So they call Paul at the printing. So Paul calls Paul at the printing company. Paul from the printing company and Paul from the graphics company talk. Paul says, "Yeah, we do printing, we don't do websites, and you do graphics, Paul, so you don't do websites and stuff like that. But I know a guy. So you better call Mike D over at cyberspaceyourplace.com." So Paul from the printing company calls me. He says, "Hey, Mike, you're going to call Paul at this graphics company. Here's his number." So I call Paul at the graphics company. I say, "Hey, Paul at the printing company told me to call you. How's it going, Paul?" Paul says, "That's awesome." So I got this guy, Paul, one of my clients, who really needs a new website. What do you guys do in that respect? Paul at the printing company told me, "You guys are awesome." Absolutely, Paul, we are. You can always call us. We'll help out anybody, even if their name's not Paul. So I talked to Paul a little bit, and Paul says, "Here's Paul's number. Call Paul." So I call Paul. We have a good conversation, and then I tell Paul, "All right, Paul, listen, I'm going to get you a plan to rebuild this web presence and make it look awesome." Then I call Paul at the graphics company and say, "Hey, thank you, Paul. I talked to Paul, and I got him a plan to help him, and he says he's going to make a decision in March. Hey, thanks a lot for the referral. I appreciate it. And maybe there's some more synergy that we can have together." Then I call my man Paul at the printing company and say, "Hey, Paul, just a quick call to tell you thank you for referring me to Paul, who referred me to Paul." So the moral of the story is this: you want to be that person who's developing some of those relationships. So when that moment comes in and they say, "Wait a minute, I know a guy, I know a girl who can help you." And whether their name's Paul or Paula, either way, right? So you want to do some networking to make sure you're the person that comes up when they want to know, "Hey, who do you know? You know a guy." That's the moral of the story. So better call Paul. Anyway, next, IT guys. So I'll talk about IT guys in a second, right? More TV. This is like the TV show episode, right? Because another show that was awesome, right? Sons of Anarchy. And listen, man, if you're in marketing and you're in business, especially if you sell to consumers, you sell to anybody, man. People are people no matter what. You should be in tune. I know pop culture and politics and current events and news, you get overloaded and it's sometimes negative and all that shit. But listen, you need to keep a pulse as best as you can. I mean, as much as you can handle with your bandwidth to an extent of what's going on. So knowing the TV shows that people are happy with, I mean, that or watching, people are talking about. Yeah, it could be a good thing. So anyway, Sons of Anarchy, right? Another great show, right? 7 seasons, right? Jax Teller, yada yada yada. Running guns, running cocaine, whatever. Good show. Fairly violent, right? Mr. Mayhem, right? They have that Mayhem Vote. Should and it just means they're gonna whack, the Italian mafia, right? You're gonna whack somebody. So they have this Mayhem Vote. So I wrote a blog post a couple weeks ago about how IT guys, there should be a Mayhem Vote for the IT guys. Now here's the lesson, right? People who fix computers, people who do network setup and they configure firewalls and they remove your virus and they set up your server, Dude, they are not marketing people. It's so sad to see how many small business owners make the mistake of going to the IT guy. Oh, this person's good with computers. And sometimes, oh my Lord, it ain't even that they're even professionals in IT. they're like, oh, they know how to use a smartphone. They must know all this website stuff. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? So listen, do yourself a favor or save a business colleague. If they think the IT guy is who they need to be talking to about internet and online marketing, intervene. Save that person. If they think just because their son is in his 20s or daughter's in her 20s that they know all about this stuff, no, they don't. They don't. Sure, they might use it just like you using a light bulb. You know how a light bulb works? I don't. Do you? No, right? You need to hire the pros. Whether it's us or somebody else, hire the pros. Don't assume that an IT guy who fixes computers is someone you need to be talking to about online marketing. Don't assume because someone's in their 20s or they're a millennial that they can handle your online marketing. Just do yourself a favor. Talk to the pros. Last thing, what I call the Facebook faucet, right? This is cool. This is what's really cool about Facebook marketing. Why is Facebook advertising so effective? Because there's 1.6 billion people on there. There's every single, both genders, right? But every single makeup of personality, right, is on Facebook. You can find them. You can find matches to find what I call your ideal suspect on Facebook. As long as you know who that person is, who you want to do business with, there's parameters and you can target them on Facebook. Plus the remarketing. So if you have a strategy where you get good content out there, good posts, and then you drive those posts to, say, landing pages or other things, you can operate what I call the Facebook faucet. Anytime you want to ramp something up, get some interest around something, boom, you can go right to Facebook and you can craft a good message. You have a good landing page with remarketing code on it, with a funnel, a marketing funnel that captures a lead or gets some interest or calls them to act, no matter what business you're in. It's like turning on a faucet, right? So think about that Facebook faucet as far as wrapping your head around Facebook marketing, because it is very powerful and almost no business should really be without it. So that's the Facebook faucet. Turn it on and off at your will as long as you know what you're doing. Get the remarketing in place, get the landing pages in place, get the budget in place, and it does work. So, and then of course, my lesson I've been beating for a while is that if you're a small business, Facebook is not free. Get that out of your head too. It's not free, because unless you're a celebrity, unless you're have some viral message and you get lucky, which is 1%, you're not going to get any traction on Facebook unless you come with an ad budget. You're really not. And then there's another 1% where it doesn't matter. I use the Philly cheesesteak example. Gino Steaks, Pat Steaks, they're a tourist destination, they're an icon, and they're going to be lines around the block all the time, no matter what. They're going to be in newspapers, they're going to be Philly, whatever, and they don't really have to be on Facebook. People are going to be checking in, writing reviews. Hey, look at me, I'm at Pat Steaks. Look at me, I'm at Gino Steaks when I'm in Philly. Going to happen no matter what. So, but that's again 1%. 98% of businesses, if they're going to get any traction on Facebook, need to go in with a strategy and go in with a budget. All right, it's Mike D, Mike D's Marketing Mix. Thanks for watching. Share this with a friend, if they're willing to give us a little attention for a few minutes. I know this is longer than the average 10-second cat video or something like that, but if they're willing to learn, they're willing to maybe play this video while they're doing dishes, or they're willing to just play this video in the car through their Bluetooth or whatever while they're driving, if they have a good 4G or 5G connection, right? 5G's coming. Share this with them. We'd appreciate that. All right, again, Mike D, cyberspaceyourplace.com, and this has been Mike D's Marketing Mix, and we'll see you next time. Take care.